Sir David Attenborough launches Boaty polar ship. Sir David Attenborough has launched the 10,000-ton hull of the UK's newest polar ship, named after him, into the River Mersey. The broadcaster pushed the button, sending the hull sliding out from the Camel Laird yard in Birkenhead, into the water where building will continue. Our future will be affected by what people working on this ship will be discovering in years to come, he said. It is the greatest possible honor to be its namesake, Sir David added. The hull of the £200 million research vessel entered the river stern first, creating a big wave as it hit the water. Ahead of the launch, the riverbed was dredged in front of the slipway to make sure the steel mast did not bottom out. When 100 years ago this country sent people down to the South Pole, we were the pioneers in exploring the Antarctic, Sir David said. When we did so, I expect the reason we did was the South Pole seemed as far away as it could possibly get to be on this planet. Now, 100 years later, we realize that remote place is, in fact, key to the whole understanding of the planet. What goes on down there affects the whole of the Earth in which we live. Saturday is an important milestone for the ship, whose development has been followed closely since an online campaign tried to get it named Boaty Boatface. She's like a giant Airfix model, said Camel Laird project manager John Drummond. She's being put together with 1 million pieces of steel, 30 kilometers of piping, 5,000 valves, and 450 kilometers of cabling. The steelwork going in the water represents the lower decks of the Attenborough and the components whose great size meant they had to be encapsulated during the build. This included the vessel's huge diesel-electric Rolls-Royce engines. Tugs will be on hand to catch the hull as it floats out into the Mersey. They will then move the structure to the company's wet basin. It is here that the upper decks will be attached. Together will all the internal fixtures and fittings, such as cabins and laboratories. At the moment we have just the 6 decks in the hull, and the other 6 decks of what we call the superstructure will be lifted on after she's gone into our harbour, explained Claire Bigger, assistant ship manager at Camel Laird. An official handover of the finished ship is scheduled for the end of the year. It is at this point that the RRS Sir David Attenborough can begin sea trials, and go on its maiden expeditions to the Arctic and the Antarctic. We'll take her up into the Arctic and test her performance in the flows, and that will give us a really good yardstick to know how far we can push this vessel, said Captain Ralph Stevens from the British Antarctic Survey. Her first year, 2019, is really a rehearsal year when we test everything on board. In 2020, she'll be fully operational. Why does this matter? The 2 ships that make up the UK's existing polar fleet, the RRS James Clark Ross, JCR, and the RRS Ernest Shackleton, are aging, with nearly 50 years service now between them. These vessels are also getting expensive to run. The £200 million, state-of-the-art Attenborough will be their replacement. It will have the capability to fulfill all the roles currently undertaken by the JCR and the Shackleton, which broadly split into research and logistics. How will the Attenborough be used? The new ship will support scientists working at both ends of the planet. At times, this will include delivering the supplies that sustain British bases, such as Rothera and Halley in Antarctica. On other occasions, it will mean acting as the platform from which scientists can launch investigations of the polar environment. Because of where the ship will have to work, the hull has been designed to break through meter-thick sea ice. How special is the ship? The Attenborough will be equipped with all the latest scientific gear. It will have a helipad, cranes and onboard labs, and have the ability to deploy subs and other ocean survey and sampling kit. One of its key features is an enclosed moon pool. This is essentially a huge hole running right through the middle of the hull. It will allow instruments to be lowered into, and recovered from, the sea when weather or dense sea ice conditions would normally make such work very difficult. The ship design, put together by Rolls-Royce, also enables near-silent running when required, meaning scientists can study sea creatures without disturbing them. What happened to the Boaty name? Boaty Boatface lives on in the form of a yellow submarine. The National Oceanography Center in Southampton has 3 long-range autonomous underwater vehicles. When one of these is out on patrol, it carries the humorous moniker. The intention is that these Boaty-class subs will frequently operate from the Attenborough. They will be asked to go into places the ship itself cannot reach, like the colossal ice shelves that surround Antarctica.